What's up, guys? I want to do something different today. And what I'm going to do, what we're going to talk about today, if I could go back and speak with my 22-year-old self, what would I say? And the reason why I'm doing this video is because I have people that are in that age range that I mentored at a certain period of time. I'm hoping that this video reaches them. When I first spreaded my wings, I was 22 years old. Got my first apartment. I was living in Southwest Little Rock, and I had a one-bedroom apartment. I was paying like $400 and some a month. I was excited to have my own spot, and it was scary too, because for so many years, of course, you understand that I've been living with my mom. I got my apartment now. I'm doing my own thing, and one thing, number one, I would tell myself is keep accountability in your life. When you are in your early 20s, you believe that you have the mindset, well, I say I had the mindset where I don't have to answer to anybody. I pay my own bills, I go to work, I take care of different things on my own, and I'm not asking anybody to help me. I'm being a man, so I don't need any accountability, anybody that I have to answer to. That's not a part of my life anymore because I'm grown. You have people that care about you on the other side too. So your actions, your decision making affects the people who love you as well. It's not just about I can do whatever it is I want to do because I'm grown, but it's also I got to keep in mind that this decision that I make not only affects me, but it affects the people I love. So you have to be mindful of your decision making. You have to be mindful of your emotional well-being. You have to be mindful of your mental well-being when you are out on your own. Keep people in your life that could help you, that could communicate with you, that could talk to you, that when you are in a position where you are ready to make certain decisions, you have people in your life that can help guide you in the right direction. We could actually look at this as number one, and because it coincides with number one, and we can look at number one as number two, but you got to keep God first. It's automatic. Keep God first, and you have to be a part of a regular church home. I mean, you have to be a member of a church home, and that you are getting poured into spiritually. Because when I first got my apartment for the duration, 3 or 4, maybe 5 years, I didn't have a regular church home because I felt like I knew everything that there was to know about God, because I grew up in church. Wednesday night, Sunday morning, Bible study, and Sunday morning, Sunday school, and we have afternoon 11 o'clock, then we got another 3 o'clock, and I already knew, and I felt in my heart, I'm like, I know everything it is to know about God. I know He's on time God. I know that He's there to help you. I know that He's there to lead you. I know that He's there to support you. And when I need Him, I call on Him. And that was what I limited my relationship to God as. When I need support, when I need you, be there. But I really wasn't trying to establish a relationship for a duration of time between maybe 2011 to maybe 2015, because I just felt like I was just doing me, and I was exploring what the world had to offer. And so one thing that I would say is just have a regular church home. So, and it goes right back to number one, and it coincides, it goes all in together. Keeping God first and having accountability in your life is a key to success. So those are two things that I would tell myself off the back if I was able to sit myself down at 22 years old. So number 3, educating yourself is not lame. When I was growing up, we looked at people that went to the library and read books as geeks and lame. That's what I equated going to a library and educating yourself as I got older, I only read and educated myself when there was purpose behind it, which means that if it had something to do with school, if it had to do something with college, if it had something to do with passing an exam, then I was willing to read a book. I was willing to educate myself because I knew that I had to pass this course. But anything outside of school, I didn't find any reason to educate myself on anything. So I really wasn't reading any books about life or to help with my finances or to help educate myself about just being a black person or being a black man. I didn't want to read anything. And I thought that people who did do that were like extra deep. When I go over a friend's house and I see that they may have several books about the black woman or economics, or I just like, oh man, they extra deep. You know what I'm saying? It's not even that deep. Go to work, get your check, take care of your bills. That's it. That was how limited my mindset was during that time. Educating yourself is not lame. It's one of the most powerful things that you can be able to do, actually, because you can be able to, that's where your confidence come from. I could be able to know. And so I could be able to sit down and have a conversation with people because I'm informed, I'm educated, I'm in the know about certain things. So I'm willing to be able to talk to different types of people because I'm aware. And that's what kind of kept me in the background, and which means I was intimidated of people because of certain classes of people, because I didn't have the education that they have on things. So since I didn't have the education that they have on things, I kind of like, it made me shy away from actually having a conversation with them and actually getting to know new people. Get you a book, even if you just start with one this year. Get you one book, say, okay, I'm going to read a book outside of college and I'm going to learn something new, and I'm going to learn a new skill this year, or something that I can incorporate in my daily life that can help me become better. This kind of goes, number 4, this kind of goes back to what I just was speaking about, educating yourself. I knew and I understood that you had to go to work, because there was nobody that's going to be taking care of you. I totally get that. But I didn't understand how to create a budget for my household. So when I was coming up, we really didn't talk about budgeting like that. We only discussed really retirement, go get you a job, get you a 401k and die. And take care of your bills and your kids. That was really it. When I got out on my own, I didn't know how to manage money. So what I did was I would just, that rat that's on that spinning wheel that's not going anywhere, that's how my life was for the duration of 10 to 12 years of me being out on my own. Now, as a 36-year-old man, I'm finally understanding that you have to have a budget for your household, that you have to begin to save money, you begin to tackle debt, have some investments. But for years I did not have that understanding. My understanding was just pay your bills so that you can survive. That was really the mindset, and that was the go-to for as long as I've been an adult. And I'm just understanding now that it's important for you to have a budget for your household. And I get it, man. Sometimes some men are not good with finances. But I do believe that it's important to empower yourself. Meaning that go to the library, educate yourself, or check out a book, or go on a different websites to learn how to create a budget, or go in the Word of God and see what God says about money. And you could just start there. What does God say about money? But I think that it's important for you to educate yourself. And what begins to happen is, all the time throughout that, it was so many years, I went to work, got paid, and the very next week I had no idea where my money went. I had no idea. Though I was working for a beverage company for maybe a couple years, very popular beverage company, and I was making $2,400 to $2,500 a month. My rent was $400. I didn't know how to budget my money, and I didn't know how to manage it, and I was still in the negative every week. So they had this thing with your bank where you could be able to borrow the money and then you can be able to pay it back when you get paid. It automatically take it back out, the overdraft. And so I was still using overdraft, and I was making 3 times, 4 times my rent. And because I was spending it on women and partying and unnecessary things, and I didn't have a budget for my household, I didn't know where my money was going. And so I was just showing up, and then Friday I was broke. So I just recommend you budget your money and you do right by your money. And then I wasn't giving in any tithes, any offers. I wasn't giving no money to God. I wasn't making any investments. So I don't know where the money was going. So making sure that you have a budget for your household is very important. Knowing where your money is going, being intentional with that, is going to help you down the road. Last but not least, sex does not heal any trauma that you have experienced as a child. Sex does not heal any trauma you have experienced as a child. So where are you going with that? When I was younger, I was a kid, I was called E.T., ugly, big head. I was bullied, I was picked on. So when I got older and I started to mature and started to grow into my looks, what began to happen is I would attract beautiful women, and I would go after beautiful women. And if I had a sexual encounter with that woman, then it made me feel like, okay, this is healing parts of my childhood where I wasn't picked to be a young lady's boyfriend that I was interested in. So when she picked the popular guy, or the guy that could play ball, or the guy that was fighting a lot in school, he was popular for that. Whatever he was popular for, if she chose that guy over me, then that was my way of getting back at her by having encounters with different women as an adult. Now this woman, or these women, probably have kids, they're married, whatever it is, but I'm still trying to deal with insecurity through sin to be able to help me as a kid. And I was absolutely incorrect. And as I got older, I realized that you begin to create strongholds. And now you have a committed relationship that you're in, that God has anointed and favored. And now you have to begin to go in the spirit and begin to delete and begin to burn up those encounters. Because what begins to happen is, if you don't go and tear those strongholds down through the word of God, you begin to miss those people. You begin to continue to think about those people. And then when you out in public, now you see a person that you had an encounter with, now you with somebody else. Now your heart is beating fast because you haven't really got over that situation. You with somebody, but you haven't emotionally and mentally done the work to be able to get over that situation. So you gotta face trauma. You gotta be able to deal with your baggage. And so that's one of the key things that I would tell my 22-year-old self, that you got to begin to heal.